Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Mandy. Welcome to my channel all about cross stitch. If you are new here, thank you so much for press and play. I hope you stick around, hit the like, subscribe, do all the things. I hope you enjoy what you see and can stick around a little bit. And for returning viewers, thank you so much. I so appreciate all of your support, the comments, which I'm trying to get better about replying to. I know I missed the last video, I think, or at least some of them. I'm trying to get better about comments. I really appreciate those that take the time to comment, especially the regular ones. I love the interaction, and I do apologize that I'm bad about replying. So I'm gonna try to make it a mission to be a little bit better about that. Today is Tuesday, July 4th. Where did the month of June go? I filmed one video in June, and suddenly it's July. The month went by in the blink of an eye. If you are here in the States, I hope you are able to enjoy a holiday off. I did have a long weekend, but I did have to work yesterday. So I took half a day Thursday and all day Friday off. Had some fun pinball events. I participated in a tournament Thursday night. I did not finish last. That was my mission. I did not want to finish last. I finished 35th out of 36. But I didn't finish last. A couple weeks ago, I was in a women's tournament that there were 9 people. I finished 8th. Technically, it was a tie with last place. We had the same number of points, but the way that they figure out the order of people, it put me 8th out of 9th. So, hey, we're not finishing last. That's the important part, right? I've had some really fun times the last few weeks. Some really great friends involved with going to these pinball events that I've been attending with my sister and her husband, and it's just, there's been some really great people. Thursday night we celebrated the birthday of a friend, and so it was fun being able to surprise her with snacks and goodies and gifts and all that good stuff. So really great time. I was so glad that I was able to go. Yeah. So not a whole lot has been going on with me. I really do not have a whole lot to share for the fact that it's been nearly 3 weeks since I last filmed. I don't have a whole lot to share because I've sort of become sort of monogamous where I've picked up one project and I really haven't done a whole lot with it. And I just realized there was a picture I wanted to have ready and I forgot to do that. So bear with me here really quickly. Because I do have my portion of a round robin finish, here we go, that I've already sent off to the next week. So since I'm right here, before I end up forgetting about it, let's just dive into what we've got going on. I've got some great things to share. It's not a whole lot, but I think this is really great. Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy, it was through her Patreon that she started a, she's calling it the first most magnificent ink circles round robin. And basically she's paired us up in teams of 4. If you haven't been here before, she's paired us up with, in teams of 4. We picked mandala style ink circles. Well, I guess we could have picked any pattern within a certain size range. I think we've all pretty much selected mandalas because the whole premise was she loves ink circles, she loves mandalas, but she doesn't like stitching the same thing multiple times. You think of a mandala being the same thing stitched 4 different times. And so she and another person kind of had the same idea at the same time of, let's do a round robin. And so I've shared my piece before. It is a beautiful piece, and I saw the update after the second person worked on it. Well, after me. So I've worked on it. One other person has worked on it and finished it, sent it on. It is a beautiful piece. I absolutely love how that one's turning out. And so I got my second piece done, and like I said, it's already been sent on. So I stitched, we're going to show the digital just on my iPad because, again, I had to get it sent on. I stitched After the Roses, and I'm so glad that we did this as a round robin situation because as I'm so loving how this looks, as the finished thing, but it was it was fussy just because there was lots of color changes, and it's beautiful. I'm so glad that it's done. And I hope the Michelle whose finished piece this will be, different Michelle in my group, I know she loves it. She picked the pattern, of course, and she's loving it, and I can't wait for her to get the final piece just because it is so pretty. But I know that it's not something that I would want to stitch all 4 pieces myself. So I'm so happy that I got to participate with it. So again, this was After the Roses. It was stitched on a piece of 14 count Fox and Rabbit in ballet slippers. It was using called for colors, but Michelle was cool with, and the way she stitches is she does use overdyed flosses, but she'll do 1 strand in the loop method. And so that worked out great. And it may not really be coming through too well on the pictures, but where, like, especially like in the greenery, maybe some of the red areas, where it was very, you know, a highly variegated floss, that variegation still came through. Even though it was a loop method, there was an area, especially in, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, yeah, this thing's not going to let me zoom in on it. I don't remember what color it was, but I want to say it was like a red or a pink, where it actually had a section of really dark and a section of really light on 1 strand. And when I did the loop method, you got both of those colors in at one time, and it was just a really cool effect. So I appreciate being able to work on this piece, and I hope Michelle is happy with it when she receives it back. So that was one finish. Yeah. The most epic finish that I have, because I'm in love with this piece. And I cannot wait to see the excitement when it gets released. I am so honored that I got to stitch this piece. Really, really appreciate the legwork that Michelle Bendy Stitchy it's her model. The legwork that she went through with being able to get material for me to stitch it on. The original, so it's a reproduction sampler. So she bought the original that was stitched, you know, back in 1800s or whatever it was, that and so she's reproducing it. The original, I think she said, was stitched on like 40 count perforated paper or something crazy like that. I don't remember exactly. So she wanted to find material that resembled color wise. And originally she messaged me saying that she had a piece of linen for it. And I replied, I'm like, as much as I would absolutely love to model stitch for you, I don't think that's the time for me to learn how to stitch on linen. I'm an Aida stitcher. I love my Aida. I've tried Monaco. I wasn't happy with it. I'm an Aida stitcher. And she's like, yeah, you're right. I know you're an Aida stitcher. I knew that. You know, let me go back to the drawing board. And ultimately her discussions ended up with Fox and Rabbit fabric dyers. I don't think they were necessarily doing Aida at the time, but in their conversations they ultimately ended up doing Aida, and so they dyed one of like their regular fabric color in their line. They just ended up doing it on Aida, and it ended up being absolutely the perfect fit for the piece in terms of like match, you know, the original and that. I've got permission to share this. Michelle is absolutely happy that I'm sharing this. I've already shared it on my Instagram. She has shared it on her story. So if you follow her, you may have already seen it in her stories the other day. She's all about wanting to get the hype going. Doesn't need to be a secret stitch. And you know, her own model stitching that she's doing for other boxes and such that, you know, projects she's a part of, she's not going to share those kind of things. But when it comes to her own stuff, she's decided, I mean, she's spoken about this on her own stuff. She's all about wanting to share, get the hype going. It sounds like this is going to be a Market 2024 release. So Nashville Market, the wholesale, needlework wholesale extravaganza that needlework shops and designers and everybody gets involved in. it's going to be released next March. So she's a step ahead of the game, so, which is cool. What am I talking about? Let's go ahead and show this amazingness. I did not take the time to iron, so it is absolutely full of wrinkles from the Q-snap, but I'm so proud of this piece. I love it. We're going to share individually. So there's one half. So Justice Ramsdell died July 13th, 1836. And then the other side, Amanda Ramsdell. And this one was died February 3rd, 1851. I know she looked into it and figured out, I think she figured out that it was a sister of Amanda, daughter of Justice. Like Amanda and the Stitcher were daughters of Justice, I think is what she said. So tentatively it sounds like the title of this is going to be Ramsdell Mourning Sampler. And it's going to be a March of 2024 release. I love this piece. I'm so happy to have it done because it's been an honor to stitch on it. So that is that. We are going to go ahead and show the flosses. So this was stitched with Sulky. So the material was it was a 16 count Fox and Rabbit in baked clay, and it was stitched all in Sulky. And this was really fun to work with. I tend to use longer strands when I would pull off, and it is amazing just how many stitches you can get out of a length of Sulky. I could stitch for days with it. It does look like, especially if you decide to stitch on a 28, a 14/28 count, you would need 2 spools of the black, because that is getting really low. But otherwise, all of the other colors, especially the colors of like the flowers over here, those barely even look touched, but maybe that middle green there, I don't know. But really I think the black looks like is the only one that could be tentatively possible of running out, but so you would need a second spool. But what is this, 12 weight? Is that what it's called? 12 weight Sulky? And so yeah, that was really fun to get to stitch with. So huge thank you to Michelle to, in selecting me to stitch that for her. I hope that she appreciates the things that I did go to her on. There were a couple spacing things, just because I knew that it was a reproduction that, for the most part, everything, the spacing between all the letters was uniform. And so I think it was between like the M and the O, all of a sudden there was an extra space. We did end up having to fix something. We caught another spacing issue in the Ramsdell. But it was a matter of, because I know that it's a reproduction, so it's like, is the original spaced this way? Did the original stitcher do it that way? Or is it just, going along with the creating the pattern? And so she was able to confirm exactly how she wanted things done. So I hope that I was able to communicate well with her. We're just gonna show the entire thing again because I'm so proud of this piece and I love it. And I can't wait for y'all to be able to stitch it. And I hope you like it. Overall, I was able to stitch this entire piece in a total of 37 stitching days. I know at one point, especially working on the first half of it, I went ham on it, so I couldn't put it down. I think I finished that portion just over 2 weeks worth of like nearly every day worth of stitching. It was a great piece, and I can't say enough about how excited I am that I get to stitch it and that it's done. Alrighty, so the next piece is going to be something completely different. It's a start and a finish. So again, I keep talking about going to pinball events with my sister and that, and so some of the events we go to is a women's specific tournament, and so the like organization that, I don't know what you call it, I guess it's an organization, they're called the Bells and Chimes, and so like there's different chapters, and so the chapter we've been attending, hosted by Bells and Chimes, there's usually some kind of raffle prizes and such, and you know, the couple of people that are in charge of things, they usually, you know, are the ones to provide the raffles. Well, to, you know, kind of even things out a bit, a lot of us, you know, people try to donate things to then be put into for the raffle. And so there's one gal that I should have brought that over. Last week's tournament, I actually won a sign that she had made. It says "Life is better with friends and pinball," that she created. It's a wood burning type of thing. She does a lot of things with the vinyl cut cricket stuff, really cute little signs and such. So I kind of took some inspiration from her in terms of, I can stitch something to donate towards it. So I'm gonna do some bookmarks. So this is a start and a finish. I used, I've got the program on my computer called PC Stitch. So it's a design software. You also have the ability to input a picture and it'll turn a chart. I haven't really done anything of that. You've got the ability to free design such, but part of the program includes a ton of font options. And so I just found a really pretty font from there. I created just a really simple border around it, but I created a bookmark. So Bells and Chimes. And so it's just a little simple zigzag border all around it. So I haven't finished it yet. I still am planning on just putting on a piece of interfacing on the back of it, pretty fabric or of some sort. I got another event next weekend, so if I can get to the fabric store and find something else, if not, I've got something that I actually will kind of coordinate. I'll just tack on the back. I looked into doing, figuring out how to do a tassel. I'm not gonna go that route. We're just gonna finish that up. So that's a little bookmark. I've got some other threads. I forget now what blue. I just pulled a bunch of DMC flosses. I've got a handful of other material already cut down and a handful of flosses that I'm gonna stitch up a bunch of them in different colors. So I probably won't have a chance to actually show the finish, but basically it's this. I'm just gonna put a basic piece of fabric on the back of it and call it good. I may do some of the fancy where you can shred like layers out where it kind of gives a nice edging. I may try to do some of that. I don't know. We'll see. So, yeah, so that's my little bookmark. Whoops. I have a page finish. Let's show what the original pattern's gonna look like, shall we? I know this is a particular favorite of a few people. It's been so good to get work on this piece, to get a page finish. This is my oldest full coverage. So my oldest Hayden. So we are looking at Mini Dark Goddess, artwork by the late Carol Cavalaris, charted by Heaven and Earth. I love the colors in this piece. I say it every time I show it, but I cannot wait to get down into like these blues and oranges. And here we go. It looks like a mess because with Pattern Keeper, I do not stick with just the, you know, straight edges of the pages. I stitch wherever a color symbol takes me, but I do technically have a page finish over in here. This is, I don't know if I said, but it's Mini Dark Goddess, so it is the mini version. Stitched on 16 count white Aida, 2 strands full cross. And it was exciting to get that page finished the other day. Pretty abstract. It's looking, you can really see more of the definition of the flower petals, you know, more so looking at it on screen, I think, than what I see, especially when it's right in front of me. I was really glad to get that huge patch of white done a while ago. But yeah, so we are now at 39.73% complete. Like I said, this is my oldest Heaven and Earth full coverage start, and I started this, well, project. I started this in May of 2020. Infamous 2020. But yeah. So that was exciting to get that page finished. Not only is this my oldest full coverage, but it is the furthest one I have in progress. So I don't anticipate me getting a huge focus on this now like I did with my mini stitching moon piece and, you know, going ham on it, but hey, year's not out yet. I can't make promises. Alrighty, in the last whip that I have to share, I just picked this piece up last night. Kind of on a whim of deciding, yeah, let's work on something else instead of, because I've worked on Dark Goddess for the past, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe. Actually, I think I picked it up the day after my last Flosstube, which has been, like I said, almost 3 weeks now. And so there's been a couple of non-stitching days. There's been a couple days that, like, I was focusing on the Ramsdell model, and, you know, but for the most part, Dark Goddess was really the only thing that I worked on for a stretch of a number of days. But last night I decided to switch it up a little bit. The colors in this piece is amazing. This is Mini C Opal, artwork by, I just had it on the tip of my tongue, Elizabeth Welker. Chart by Heaven and Earth. So I do still have it on the Q-snap. I'm not taking it all off. This is plugging away on page 2. So page 1 is all done. It's somewhere in there. So this one is only at 11.8% completed. Another 16 count, 2 strands full cross. That is my go-to for full coverage. It's just a basic white 16 count. What's the orange? Swigert? Where'd it go? There it is. The orange band. That's my go-to. So it looks like a hot mess. This page is definitely filled with confetti. Basically yesterday when I picked it up, I really worked a lot in here. At one point I started with pick a symbol and I'm gonna stitch what I can throughout the entire page. Then it's like, well, no, I kind of want to focus on being able to get some of that filled in. So then I just started working on that. Then by the end of last night, I ended up just, again, picking a color. I think I'm really wanting to focus over here and try to get some of this filled in. So it was basically just, I picked a color and like this blue down here, I just stitched everywhere that I could for the page and got that one done. So yeah, this one's gonna be so pretty. I just need to actually focus on it. But that is Mini C Opal. Alrighty, in terms of plans, if you will, I did pull material the other day. I ended up joining, although I didn't actually start it, but our friend Laura at Stitching by the Shore, she was getting ready to start a Barbara Anna, and so Saturday, she hosted, on July 1st, she hosted a Zoom call, and a lot of people were starting Barbara Annas or working on one, and so I was having printer issues before the Zoom call started. I was pulling the colors. I'm still thinking about the material, and so technology got the best of me, and so I just picked up Dark Goddess. But it was great being able to chat with the ladies there. So the one that I'm wanting to start is called Spooky Tree. So again, it's Barbara Anna. Basically, if you could say that I've had a unicorn, which I don't know that I've really talked, can say that I have much of in terms of something that, hard to find chart, can't get my hands on. Only reason why I would say that this one would have been a unicorn is because I had it in my wish list on Everything Cross Stitch for a long time, but it was showing as out of stock. And it's like, I would really love for that pattern to come back into stock. I don't know why. I love the quirkiness of it. It's funky. I love the bright orange. So I was bummed that I just couldn't get my hands on it. Well, then I'm sure it was the lovely works of Flosstube that I learned about Creative Poppy, that Barbara Anna basically just started selling all of their charts on Creative Poppy. So once I found it was there, I was able to get the digital pattern. Unicorn is now in my hands. I've had the pattern for a couple of years now. I just hadn't done anything about actually starting it. So that is my plans. I'd like to maybe try to get that started. It's stitched on just kind of a brown, I don't know that it even says, it probably does somewhere. It was stitched on a khaki linen. Well, brown was just kind of dull. So I wanted to switch it up a little bit. So I was thinking, I was going through my fabric the other day while chit-chatting with everyone. I think I want to go with this really pretty purple. Isn't that cool? There are a couple little spots that I'd probably either change the color, maybe darken. The regular 208, 209, 210, I think 211. They're different shades of purple DMC floss numbers. Are probably going to be pretty close to this. I may switch it up entirely. I haven't decided yet. But I'm thinking I want to use this color. So it's a color in cotton. It was just it's called Monster Mash. It was can't read backwards, September 2020 Fabric of the Month Club. Back in 2020, I don't know what the options are now. I think there's really a waiting list, I think, from what I've heard. But back in 2020, I had the ability to just pay for a 6-month Fabric of the Month Club, one drop payment. So I was in the Fabric of the Month Club for 6 months. Beautiful fabric. It's not a huge piece. It's 13 by 17. But that piece, the actual stitched area on 16 count is like 3 by 10. So this will be just perfect for it. And then some. So I'm thinking of doing that. The other plan is next Saturday, the 15th, is my birthday. And so I did place an order with 123 Stitch Sunday. I got the notification yesterday that it was shipped. So it should be here by next Saturday. I want to start another Heaven and Earth. Cause why not? I've had the floss for this for quite some time. I just needed to get my hands on the material. The picture may not necessarily be all that child friendly, so if you do have children looking, if you don't want them to see, you may want to, distract them or something. But this is called Companions by Bridget Ashwood. I think this is how it's pronounced. So again, I'm going to show the picture. A little bit of a naked girl. But I love the piece. She's holding a little dragon. I love the color of the wings. Tattoos are really pretty, of course. So I know it's going to be a while before I even get into any kind of anything because there's a ton of background. But I started going through the floss the other day and figured out what all I have. There's a few that I needed. I still need to work on getting it put onto bobbins. But otherwise, that is my plan for that. So I don't usually do a whole lot of planning and such, but a couple little things. The only one little piece of haul to share is my Bestitch Me Fabric of the Month. This is one of the colors So I'm in the option of every other month. So 1 month I get a bright, 1 month I get a neutral. So this particular time was the colors. So if you are in that, you don't want to see because you haven't gotten yours yet. Oops, sorry if I just flushed it. It's a bright. So it is called Summer Sunrise, and it's that bright. So Summer Sunrise. I get a good size piece. I cannot wait to figure out something to stitch on this because it is bright. I have no clue what I'm going to put on it. Haven't even considered it. But, oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. So that's my haul. That's it. Yeah, not a whole lot else going on with me. It does appear that we are not going to get another Stitches sighting today, so I do apologize for that. If you are new here, I have a black cat. Her name is Stitches. Before I started filming, I know she was crashed out on my bed, right in the center, all comfy and cozy. So, no Stitches today. But if you're not following me on Instagram, I'm usually posting pictures of her there. So you can find me on Instagram at StitchingBee82. It is summer in Michigan, and that is absolutely for sure. It is supposed to be like 90 degrees today. I've got my AC running. Haven't even been outside yet. I don't know that I even care to be outside. Because not only is it going to be 90 degrees, but I'm sure the humidity is going to be just super high. I don't care for that. I'd like to go back a few weeks where it was like mid 60s, low 70s. That would be awesome. Yeah, things are going good here. I'm working. Like I said, I had a little bit of time off last week, so that was nice. A little bit of a mini vacation. Made a couple trips to Grand Rapids, so which is fun. It's from my sister's house. It's like an hour and 40 minutes, so it's not a bad drive at all. Especially because it tends to be late nights coming back, so I tend to sleep through it. So crash out shortly after. I sit in the back seat, so crash out pretty quickly once we get on the road. Next thing you know, we're pulling into their driveway. So but yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know anything else to share. Things are going good here. Stay cool. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, I hope you are able to stay cool. Hope you're getting lots of stitching time in. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, I hope you are staying comfortable and warm. I imagine that's getting cold that direction. I hope you're getting lots of stitching time. I hope you're doing well. Keep stitching. Stitch on what brings you joy, and we'll see you again in the next couple of weeks. It's hard for me to say necessarily when I'm going to actually film again. I was wanting to film last week, but then with the plans that came up for Thursday and Friday, it wasn't going to happen. So holiday today. I just finished that model late Saturday night, and so I definitely wanted to be able to film again because I got to get that shipped back over to Michelle. So yes, I hope you all enjoyed that sampler when it comes out. It is a bigger piece than she has released in the past, but it's a beautiful piece. It is something that you easily could stitch just one or the other if you didn't want to do the whole thing. It is very, I don't know what the pattern is going to look like, but once she gets that finalized and everything, but it is absolutely something that you could easily do just one side without feeling like you've got to do a whole lot of editing to make it work or anything like that. So yeah, so it's gonna be exciting to see when that comes out. So all right, we're gonna go because all I'm doing is rambling. I want to get back to stitching, and I hope everyone's doing well. Stitch on what brings you joy, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.